Rain drizzled down a quiet suburban street. Just after 11 p.m., nothing much ever happened here. Until tonight. 20 minutes earlier, a terrified woman called 999. Her ex-partner had broken in. She was locked in the bathroom with her children, whispering into the phone, desperate for sirens. But the sirens didn't come. Each minute crawled by. The call handler tried to keep her calm, knowing the nearest unit was over 30 miles away, tied up with other emergencies. Every officer was already committed, stretched thin across the county. The woman didn't know any of this. All she felt was the silence where help should have been. This isn't a TV drama, it's reality, happening with frightening regularity. The delay isn't about a lack of courage, it's a symptom of a deeper crisis, one that's been building for years. The blue light is still a symbol of hope, but for too many it's a hope that arrives too late. That night, luck was the only thing that kept tragedy at bay. The ex-partner left before police arrived, 45 minutes after the call. The officers were apologetic, exhausted, and immediately dispatched to the next emergency. For the family, the trauma lingered, along with a new fear being alone when it mattered most. This is the human cost of a service stretched to its breaking point, and it's a cost that's being paid in communities across the country. The numbers tell a stark story. In the year ending March 2023, there were over 40,000 assaults on police officers in England and Wales, more than 100 a day. Imagine going to work with a 1 in 4 chance of being assaulted. Pay is another pressure point. A new constable starts on around £28,000, but after years of pay freezes, that's a real terms cut of 20% since 2010. Officers are struggling to pay mortgages, using food banks and taking second jobs. Morale is at rock bottom. 94% of officers feel disrespected by the government. 85% report stress or mental health struggles. Over 1 in 5 plan to resign within 2 years. The demands are growing. Knife crime, digital fraud, and mental health crises now fall to the police. The resources are shrinking, and the people in the middle are the officers trying to hold the line. The crisis is not just in numbers, it's in lives. Statistics are cold. The real story is in the voices of officers.
I don't feel like a police officer anymore. I'm a social worker with a stab vest. Last week I spent hours with a suicidal teen because mental health services had no beds, then straight to a domestic. I got home at 4 a.m., slept 3 hours, and came back in. My family barely sees me.
You never forget the things you see. The trauma follows you home. There's a counselor, but who has time? You're expected to just box it up and move on.
I joined to help people. Now it's paperwork, abuse, and feeling like you can never win. You arrest someone, they're back on the street before your shift ends. My friends in trades earn more and don't see dead bodies.
These aren't rare stories, they're the norm.
We're losing wisdom. The old hands who knew how to talk someone down, they've left. Every time one goes, the job gets harder for those left behind.
Gallows humor helps, but underneath is exhaustion and a sense of being undervalued. The trauma, the pressure, the lack of support. It's breaking the people we rely on. The front line is fraying and the consequences are real. Officers are burning out and the next generation is left without mentors. The job is changing and not for the better. The cost isn't just to officers, it's to all of us. The stories are a warning. If we don't listen, the crisis will only deepen. The thin blue line is held together by people, and those people are struggling. The crisis isn't just about individual incidents, it's systemic. Austerity cut police funding by 19% between 2010 and 2018, costing over 20,000 officers. Police stations closed, specialist units vanished, and community policing became a luxury. Officers are now the last resort for a society where other services have buckled, dealing with mental health, welfare checks, and more. The job has expanded, but support hasn't. Every interaction is under a microscope, with camera phones and social media turning split-second decisions into viral moments. The result? exhaustion, demoralization, and a workforce carrying invisible wounds. The badge, once a symbol of pride, now weighs heavier than ever. When a system is stretched, something gives. Response times, investigative quality, public safety. With fewer officers, even urgent calls face delays. Proactive policing, walking the beat, building trust, has been decimated. Neighborhood teams were among the first casualties. Their absence lets low-level crime and antisocial behavior flourish. Investigations into burglaries and car thefts are often minimal. Victims get a crime number, but little else. It's not laziness, it's a lack of resources. The loss of experienced officers means complex cases are handled by those still learning, leading to mistakes and missed justice. The foundation of policing is unstable, and the whole justice system feels the impact. When the police can't cope, everyone pays the price. The thin blue line is snapping. Over 9,000 officers resigned in a single year, the highest on record. These aren't just new recruits. Many are experienced officers, taking years of knowledge with them. Every resignation makes the job harder for those who remain, creating a cycle of burnout and more departures. Stress and mental health issues are soaring, with officers taking long-term sick leave for PTSD, depression, and anxiety. The public feels the effects. Delayed responses, unsolved crimes, rising antisocial behavior. This isn't just a police problem, it's a societal crisis. The line between order and chaos is maintained by these officers, and right now, that line is under existential threat. If we don't act, the consequences will be felt by everyone. The government's Police Uplift program hired 20,000 new officers, but the numbers are misleading. For every new recruit, experienced officers are leaving. The force is younger, less experienced, and stretched thin. Policing is a craft learned from veterans, but with so many gone, new officers are mentored by those barely out of training themselves. The experience gap is a huge risk to investigations, to safety, to public trust. Recruitment can't keep up with attrition. The net gain is small and the cost is high. Pouring new officers into a broken system only burns them out faster. Without fixing pay, conditions, and morale, recruitment is just a temporary patch. We're not just losing officers, we're losing a generation of experience. Recruitment alone isn't the answer. We need to keep the officers we have. Fair pay is fundamental. Restoring value lost over years of cuts. Mental health support must be proactive, not just a helpline. Officers need time to recover from trauma and real access to help. Retention matters as much as recruitment. That means better working conditions, manageable workloads, and real opportunities for development. Officers need protection, not just equipment, but a justice system that takes assaults on them seriously. Public and government support is essential. Scrutiny is vital, but so is respect. Rebuilding trust is a two-way street. The police must uphold high standards, and society must support them in return. Only then can we rebuild a service fit for the challenges ahead. Behind every badge is a human being, someone with hopes, fears, and families. They run toward danger, comfort the bereaved, and see what most of us never will. This isn't an apology for policing. It's a plea for understanding. The crisis is real, and it affects us all. A demoralized, overstretched force can't protect its communities. But there is hope. New recruits still join, driven by a sense of justice and service. We owe it to them to fix the system before their idealism is crushed. The time for action is now. Restore pay, invest in well-being, and have a mature public conversation. By supporting those who wear the uniform, we can mend the thin blue line and ensure help arrives when it's needed most.